Hello, my name is Laura Hayden and I'll be going over my American culture reaction video. Now, the article Body Ritual Among the Nakarima by Horace Minor is about a North American tribe called the Nakarima, which is actually just Americans spelled backwards. And he talks about their culture and basically what he learned. And he talks about how they believe that the human body is ugly and prone to diseases, so they feel that they must undergo many rituals that are very violent in order to try to make their bodies better. One of those being that these people called medicine men will do this procedure on the people where they will ground out their teeth in order to prevent decay. And he uses very descriptive words in the article when he talks about these people. Like, he describes the medicine men as sadists because they sit there and they do these harmful rituals on these people, and then they sit there and they call it medicine, and it's almost like they take enjoyment in hurting these poor people. And then he also uses the term masochist to describe the people that are going to these rituals because they sit there and they ask these medicine men to actually perform these rituals and procedures, which can be seen as masochism. Now, for my reaction to this article is I believe he puts a very negative spin on this because obviously he's playing towards American culture and he's puts a lot of negative tones, not really talking about any of the good things, just talking about how violent everything is and how bad everything is, when I feel like maybe if he looked into it a little bit more, that he might have found some more non-negative things. Like, he uses words like torture and scrutiny and sadistic and all these things to describe their culture, and how he almost puts himself on this pedestal saying like, yeah, if we weren't rich and all this stuff, then we wouldn't have to deal with it. So I feel like in this article, my reaction to is he puts American culture in a very negative light. An event that happens in my culture is actually a holiday called Halloween. Now, Halloween is this fun holiday where adults and children alike go and get dressed in costumes to be whatever they want, and children will actually go up to, when it gets to nightfall, they will go out into their neighborhood and then they'll knock on their neighbor's door, and the neighbors, they'll say trick or treat, and their neighbors will give them some candy. Or adults, they'll go out and there's different parties and fun events that they can go to all dressed up, and pumpkin patches and a whole bunch of fun things, and that's the holiday that we call Halloween. Now, it's how it's seen by other cultures. It can be seen as pretty weird because in many other cultures you wouldn't go dress up as in a costume as somebody completely not yourself, face hidden and all, and go up to a stranger's home and say, can I have some candy? So to other cultures and to other peoples from other countries, it can seem as a very weird and not safe form of holiday. Now, as far as connecting it to a cultural worldview, a lot of Americans see this holiday as a way to ward off the dead and how to like honor the dead and honestly make a fun holiday out of it, and it's become just a part of our lives. Now, it's also a way for everybody who decides to dress up to express themselves, because it's one night out of the year that you can literally dress however you want and no one can judge you, and you can just be whoever you want to be. And it's also a good way, because Americans are all about diversity, so it's a good way for people to see how they celebrate Halloween differently, where they go to the parties or trick or treat or just stay at home and watch Halloween movies all night long. As far as the history of Halloween goes, an article called Halloween by Samantha Hall and Faith Provis, they stated that it all started as a Celtic festival in Samhain on November 1st. And it started off as a festival that would ward off the dead. So they would get dressed into costumes that would make them look like the dead, so that way when they arrived, they wouldn't see them and they would blend in and they wouldn't have to worry about getting hurt. They also would, in order to ward off the dead and ghosts, they would put wine and food in front of the doors. Now, in the 8th century, the church in Samhain decided to make it the day called All Saints' Day, where they would, instead of just fearing the dead and trying to ward them off, they were also honoring the dead at the same time. Now, they later turned this name, All Saints' Day, into the name we all know and love, Halloween. And as time went on, the practices began to change. We wore costumes still, but instead of just looking like the dead, it could be any costume. Wine and food gradually turned into candy and treats. And as time went on, it evolved into more of a holiday rather than a ritual type day. Now next, there's a question on whether or not Halloween is either beneficial or detrimental to the US culture. Now, Halloween has its good and bad points, but overall it is beneficial for the US culture. Halloween is a good way for people of all backgrounds to get together and celebrate such a simple holiday together with loved ones and friends and family. And according to an article by Russell W. Bells called Halloween, an Evolving American Consumption Ritual, Bells states that 93% of children under 12 participate in Halloween. And not only that, Halloween has become the second biggest US adult party night, right behind New Year's Eve. So you have all of these people from different backgrounds and ethnicities and races all coming together to celebrate this holiday, and then everybody celebrates it's different. So it's almost a way that celebrates Americans' diversity and like the different cultures coming together for this one holiday. It's just very beneficial overall.